Hello and welcome to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, I will be covering the serious situation here of severe weather as we head into this afternoon, and also looking ahead through this week into this weekend, and also here into early next week as we do have a lot of severe weather here across the middle and southern portions of the country heading into next week as well. Now, welcome here back, everybody, to today's weather forecast. We are here at a serious situation here. We do have a level 4 of 5, a moderate risk for severe weather across southeastern Nebraska and into north central and northeast Kansas, and then is surrounding that here an enhanced risk for southeastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, western Missouri, much of Kansas, and into north central portions of Oklahoma here as well, with some lower end severe probabilities here kind of surrounding that farther off toward the mid-Mississippi Valley and into the southern plains region into North Texas here as well. Now, looking at the tornado risk for today, a 10 to even a 15% hatch tornado risk zone from southeastern Nebraska down through east central Kansas and northern Oklahoma, where we could see EF2 or stronger type tornadoes here as we head into this afternoon with those initial supercells before storms start to grow upscale. And when the storms grow upscale into a line and squall line of storms, we could see some serious wind, which could be over 75 to 80 miles per hour as we head with the strongest storms as we head into the afternoon and evening, mainly across southeastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, far northwestern portions there of Missouri, including the Kansas City area, and then getting down to northern and northeastern Kansas here as well. And then you have here that significant hail risk with 2 inches to as much as maybe even up to 4-inch hail here in diameter across southern Nebraska, southeast Nebraska, much of Kansas, and then getting down here into portions of north central and eastern Oklahoma as well, with kind of some general wind, hail, and tornado probabilities kind of surrounding that across the central and southern plains. Now, looking at today, we got temperatures warming up ahead of that shortwave trough, digging down here into the Colorado Rockies here as we speak. We got temperatures well into the 80s across these areas, and then we got a very strong sharpening dry line here with dew points ahead of the dry line here well into the 60s, the mid and upper 60s here, maybe even near 70 degrees up towards northeastern Kansas, southeastern Nebraska near that triple point. Behind that sharpening dry line, we got dew points in the teens and even the single digits back into the panhandle of Texas, and even below 0 dew points potentially into eastern New Mexico. So this dry line does mean some business as we head into this afternoon. And that is why the Cape values shown here on the HRRR model, very robust values up near 5,000 joules per kilogram here into portions of southeastern Nebraska, getting into northeast Kansas, and then here down into portions of eastern Kansas, down through central Oklahoma on the order of 2,000 to 3,500 joules per kilogram. And then as you get down here toward Texas, toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Wichita Falls, and just east of there, east of that dry line, here instability still in excess of 2,000 joules per kilogram. So a lot of energy in the atmosphere. And when you look up here in kind of the mid and upper level jet with this storm system here, as the shortwave trough continues to push down into the southern plains, we got some westerlies here pushing in with the jet stream, some very strong winds in the upper levels and mid levels of the atmosphere. And then you kind of look at the lower level. You got all that shear going on with the winds coming out of the south here, kind of underneath all that mid and upper level jet. And you do got a strong low level jet kicking in here around the triple point and down through portions of eastern Kansas, western portions, especially of Missouri, southwestern Iowa, and getting down here into east central Nebraska or east central Oklahoma here as well, down toward the Oklahoma City area, Tulsa, and then getting up toward Kansas City as well. And what that will do here is prove ripe for an environment ripe for supercell thunderstorms initially as we head into late this afternoon into this evening, with very high values shown across southeastern Nebraska and then getting down here into eastern Kansas, northwestern portions there of Missouri, southwestern Iowa, maybe even western Missouri, and then getting down into east central portions there of Oklahoma. Still some robust values down here into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but a cap on the atmosphere may kind of prove a little bit limiting to the coverage of storms down in those areas here as we head toward late this evening. And then here, even on the HRRR model, showing here very robust high-end significant tornado parameter values across especially southern and southeastern portions there of Nebraska, getting into northeast Kansas, northwest Missouri around the Kansas City area, and then tailing its way down here into eastern Kansas and toward the Oklahoma City, Moore, Oklahoma, Lawton, Oklahoma type areas. So we do have to be mindful of that. I did here take a sounding here. I'll show you that here in just a moment. But looking at the composite reflectivity, all will be quiet. Got some ongoing storms across the mid-Mississippi Valley here as we head to late this afternoon. Some storms up here in portions of northern Nebraska, getting into the Dakotas with some wraparound moisture there as well. But as we head toward late this afternoon, 4, 5, 6 o'clock toward the dinner time frame, we do have some supercell thunderstorms across western and northwestern Kansas starting to fire up, and these will continue to quickly move to the east. And as they grow upscale here, we could have some strong embedded tornadoes with these here. Some of these stronger embedded supercells with this here kind of MCS that will form into a squall line as it pushes eastward toward the Kansas City, the Omaha areas, getting down here toward Wichita as well later this evening. But this is the zone we'll be watching for some very large hail, potentially up to 4 inches in diameter, some giant hail out here at that. And then here's 75 plus mile hour wind gusts and even the EF2 or stronger type tornadoes here across southeastern Nebraska, getting into north central and northeast Kansas, especially, maybe tailing its way down toward Oklahoma if we get some storms down there later here on this evening. Then this will kind of transition to more of a damaging wind and large hail threat as it pushes towards the Nebraska and Iowa border. Still some embedded tornado threat down into northeast Kansas here where we got the southern flank of that line. Still some supercells here being embedded with that. Could see a stronger tornado here even after dark as we head into this evening. And then here we got some trailing kind of back building of storms with some big hailers down here into portions of Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas. These are the storms that can be also producing that 2, 3, 4 inch hailstones, and also here's some damaging winds in excess of 70 miles per hour, maybe even a couple tornadoes, and cannot rule out even a stronger tornado down here in Oklahoma and southeastern Kansas either, with a surging bow echo starting to push toward the Des Moines area and the northwestern portions there of Nebraska, or of Missouri rather, as we head into this evening and the overnight. And then this will continue to kind of push to the east here into western Illinois, northwest Illinois, and kind of southwestern Wisconsin, kind of falling apart as it does, but still some general thunderstorm activity in those areas. Maybe some isolated gusty winds, maybe up to about 50 miles per hour, some small hail, some frequent lightning, and some heavier downpours across those areas as we head into our Saturday morning as this all moves to the east. But look at the backward C shape here, the comma Q shape of this storm system. We got all that here snowfall on the backside, the colder air wrapping its way in here. We got some very robust warming ahead of that, and that will set the stage for our severe weather threat on Saturday. But like I said, looking at the southeastern Nebraska vicinity, that is the area most concerned for some tornadoes. Look at that hodograph here as it shoots way up into the atmosphere. Very big curvature there. It does show a possible hazard tag, a tornado. And look at the winds at the surface, east-southeasterly at the surface. And then going up here to about a few thousand feet up in the lower mid-levels of the atmosphere, the speed shear is going to be almost off the charts with that strong low-level jet pushing in, the strong mid and upper-level jet pushing in with that jet maximum pushing over those areas. And he will have winds turning with height as well, a few thousand feet up out of the southwest here, as winds will be out of the east-southeast at the surface, a few thousand feet up out of the southwest here, and also here increasing with wind speed with height as well. And then you go up into the mid-levels. In upper levels here, winds will be coming out of the west, southwest, and westerly here as we head up into the atmosphere. The D Cape up near 1500, that does signify the chance of up to 80 plus mile per hour wind gusts are possible. Some very high instability values here as well, which will be here indicative here of some very large hail. Look at the dry mid and upper level of the atmosphere. So some very big hail producers are very possible here as we head into southeast Nebraska and even southward into Kansas and Oklahoma as well. Also, on top of the severe weather threat, we do got to watch out for some flash flooding potential with all this precipitable water here in the atmosphere. These blue values here and even the darker blues showing 1 inch to 1.25 inches here of precipitable water. So that does mean any storms that move over these areas into southeast Nebraska, down through Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and especially up towards Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois could produce 1 inch plus of rainfall here wherever those storms kind of do fall across those areas here with all those precipitable water values in excess of 1 inch. And that is why the Weather Prediction Center has gone ahead and put a slight to and marginal risk of here flash flooding across much of the northern plains down through the mid-Mississippi Valley, the Missouri Valley as we head here into today, into tonight for the potential of flash flooding. This does include here western Illinois, getting back through Iowa, the Des Moines area, Omaha, Nebraska, getting down toward Kansas City, and then a slight risk zone here from southern and southeastern North Dakota down through central and eastern South Dakota and far northern Nebraska, where all that backwash moisture here will be as well, with some slower moving showers and convection, maybe even some snowfall on the backside there here as well, providing the threat for some flash flooding here. And that is why the Weather Prediction Center did put that out for today. And in general, the next 24 hours kind of ending early tomorrow morning here around the 7, 8 o'clock time frame, you can see an additional here, around the Missouri Valley into the mid-Mississippi Valley, upper Midwest regions, an additional ½ inch to an inch plus of rainfall, especially centered on Missouri, getting into western Illinois, eastern portions of Kansas, and then some real heavy rainfall here and some snowfall on the backside into portions of the Dakotas, back into north central Nebraska, where they could have an additional 1 to 2 plus inches of rain, and that is where that slight risk zone is here from the Weather Prediction Center's forecast as we head here into today and into tomorrow morning. Also of concern here, another form of severe weather. We do have some very dry weather here with a lot of wind here whipping up around the backside of the storm behind that dry line. As I did show you before, those dew points will be in the single digits, the teens, even below zero here dew points into portions of eastern New Mexico, and that is where red flag warnings are issued here for portions of much of New Mexico, much of the Texas Panhandle into West Texas, western portions of Oklahoma into the Oklahoma Panhandle, southwestern portions there of Kansas, and into much of southwestern or southeastern and eastern portions of Colorado as well. Got those high wind warnings and watches here up to the north with all that wind here on the backside of the storm system, creating some fire danger, maybe even as far north here as portions of Nebraska and into portions of Wyoming as well. So we'll have to watch that here. And the Storm Prediction Center's Day 1 Fire Weather Index kind of outlook, you can see critical fire weather concerns across most of West Texas into the Texas and Oklahoma Panhandle, getting up into Colorado, much of New Mexico, southwestern and central portions there of Kansas, and then an extremely critical area here across southwestern Kansas, the Oklahoma, maybe some parts of the Texas Panhandle, getting into southeastern Colorado and northeastern portions there of New Mexico as well. So do watch burning across those areas. Do not want to burn. I strongly discourage any burning across those areas here for grill fires, any fires here of campfires. Do not burn here as we head into these areas, as we'll have some very dry soils and a lot of wind to contend with even as well. And even an elevated fire risk as we head into the northeast as well, into western Massachusetts, Connecticut, getting into southeastern and southern New York State, much of New Jersey, and eastern portions there of Pennsylvania. So do watch the fire weather concerns in the northeast as well. Then as we head into our Saturday, we do have another severe weather risk across here the Chicagoland area, getting down into west central portions of Indiana, eastern Illinois, down through western Kentucky, northwest Tennessee, and the foothills there of Missouri, and even into southeastern Wisconsin as well, with Milwaukee in that slight risk zone. And then a marginal risk from central Wisconsin all the way over towards portions of western Ohio, getting down through western and middle Tennessee toward the Nashville area, getting down through here portions of Arkansas and central and eastern Texas as well. The tornado risk is highest across the Chicago metro area, Milwaukee, maybe up toward Madison, Wisconsin, getting down here towards the Champaign-Urbana area here into portions of Illinois, South Bend, Indiana, and then even extending down toward the Paducah area into Kentucky and up into central Wisconsin as well. I had to watch that. 2% to a 5% here tornado risk into our Saturday. And then the hail and wind risk, kind of general wind risk here of 5 to 15% hail and wind across these areas, with gusts that could be in excess of 60 and 70 miles per hour, and hail that could be up to the size of ping pong balls or so here as we head into our Saturday afternoon and evening. And why we have this is due to all the slug of moisture being pushed up into the upper Midwest and the mid-Mississippi Valley region, the Ohio Valley, dew points reaching the low 60s up toward Chicago, northern Illinois, portions of eastern Illinois, and then higher dew points down into Texas and portions there of Arkansas in that marginal risk zone where dew points will be well into the 60s, if not low 70s across those areas. And with that in play here with the warmer temperatures, we should have some instability, especially with southward extent here into Texas, around 3,000 plus joules per kilogram, 2,000 plus here into portions of Louisiana and into Arkansas, and then still up and toward the Chicagoland area, enough for severe weather, 1,000 to 1,500 to maybe even locally 2,000 into south central Illinois here for some severe weather as we head into tomorrow. And when we have all that shear kind of rounding the base of this trough here into portions of the Central Plains, the Missouri Valley, into the upper Midwest, we'll have enough shear here combining with that instability here, and that is why supercell thunderstorms are possible, especially up toward the Chicagoland area, Milwaukee, southern Wisconsin, eastern Illinois, and western portions there of Indiana, including the Indianapolis area here as well. Like I said, down toward the Champaign-Urbana area here in Illinois, Paducah, getting down toward Little Rock as well, maybe some supercellular activity down east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area and towards College Station, Waco, getting down towards Austin, Texas, Houston, or parts of those areas as well. And then, like I said, the tornado risks is highest across northeastern Illinois and into portions of southeastern Wisconsin, kind of tailing its way down towards south central Illinois here as well. And playing this out on the composite reflectivity, kind of have spokes of energy here kind of pushing along a cold front here as we head to late Saturday afternoon, and we could have some here scattered supercell thunderstorms develop here into the peak heating of the day, and that could be here producing, like I said, the damaging wind, that large hail, and potentially a couple of isolated tornadoes across those here areas as well, including the Chicago metro area, Milwaukee, down toward Indianapolis, and Paducah, Kentucky here as well. And this will continue to kind of shift off to the east as we head into Saturday evening and kind of fall apart as it here outruns the better instability and better dynamics with the storm system here as it heads in towards western Ohio, down through the here Tennessee and Ohio Valley areas, and mid-south as we head towards after dark here on Saturday. Also on Saturday, the precipitable water values in excess of an inch to an inch and a quarter across these areas, all the way up towards southeast Wisconsin, and then toward the Chicago area, getting up towards Indianapolis, even into portions of southern Michigan, western portions of Ohio, getting down towards the Mid-South. And that is why the Weather Prediction Center's Day 2 excessive rainfall outlook does show a marginal risk for flash flooding across eastern Illinois, much of the state here of Indiana, western Ohio, and getting down towards central and western Kentucky, middle and western Tennessee. This does include Nashville, getting up here towards portions of Louisville, and then down here into portions of north central portions there of Mississippi, eastern Arkansas, and northeastern portions of Louisiana as well. Another marginal risk zone is some flash flooding here on the backside into portions here of west central Minnesota, much of the eastern Dakotas, and into northwest Iowa, northeast Nebraska here on a Saturday as well. Now, as that moves out here with the spokes of energy here kind of pushing to the east with that storm system, another storm system and shortwave trough on the backside will be right on its heels here, digging down into the Intermountain West here as we head into Sunday afternoon, and then a short wave coming across the Baja of California will here meet up with us in the western portions of Texas, eastern New Mexico, and that will provide here the next chance of severe weather here as we head into Sunday. The Storm Prediction Center has gone out and put out a Day 3 outlook here for severe weather of a slight risk across much of the panhandle of Texas into West Texas, western portions of Oklahoma into the Oklahoma panhandle, and far eastern portions of New Mexico, with a marginal risk extending around that. But with remnants across here portions of the mid-Atlantic here, a marginal risk around West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, getting up towards southwestern Pennsylvania and Virginia, and southeastern portion there of Ohio for some marginally severe weather as we head towards our Sunday here with here kind of the remnants of that storm system pushing off to the northeast. But the focus will be down here into Texas and Sunday, and a kind of already a hatch zone of here significant hail, wind, and maybe even a significant tornado of EF2 or stronger across the northern panhandle of Texas. I do feel this here slight risk will be expanding a little bit further, and maybe even upgraded to an enhanced risk in the coming days. So we'll do have to watch that here as we head closer to our Sunday time frame. But as we head toward late Sunday afternoon, temperatures warming well into the 80s. You combine that with dew points at least in the mid-50s, even approaching the low 60s across that area, and that will combine here with some instability, and we could have instability values in excess of 2,000 joules per kilogram, more than enough for some impressive severe weather here set up as we head into the afternoon and evening. And supercells are definitely likely here as we have these decent values already 3 days out as we head here into our Sunday. So we'll have to watch the panhandle of Texas, especially possibly even into eastern New Mexico and western Oklahoma as we head towards Sunday. And this will be kind of a well after dark type of threat as well as it pushes towards central Texas and into here central portions of Oklahoma as well. We got enough here westerlies here into the portions of the mid and upper levels here in the jet stream to support some updraft organization here on Sunday as well. And this will continue even as we head into Monday, early next week. This will here as the severe weather threat will encompass the Lubbock area down toward Midland, Texas, and into West Texas as we head into our Sunday. That will shift eastward with another slight risk zone here, including much of Oklahoma and north central Texas as we head into our Monday. This does include Dallas, Fort Worth, Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, Moore, Oklahoma, El Reno, getting up toward portions there of Tulsa, and then getting down toward Lawton and Fort Sill, Oklahoma, even into southern portions there of Kansas as well as we head into our Monday. And that even continues. Another storm system will move here across the center of the country as we head toward middle and late next week. And the Storm Prediction Center has already gone ahead 6 days out and put another slight risk. I promise you this is a new risk across portions of the same areas of Dallas, Fort Worth, towards Wichita Falls, Tulsa, getting into Oklahoma City, up toward Wichita, Kansas here as well on our Wednesday next week here. So a very active pattern. And I did want to show you this. This is the Storm Prediction Center's kind of archives page of the probabilities of severe weather compared to climatology for this time of year. And that is bullseye right where that severe weather is expected across much of this area here into next week. These is kind of the climatology of where you can expect the most severe weather. And that is centered on portions of central Oklahoma to north Texas. And the most tornadoes this time of year, kind of compared to climatology around the end of April, kind of centered on the same location into Oklahoma, Kansas, and then down through central and north Texas as well. Same thing here with the wind probabilities across the mid-south and here portions of the southern plains, and the hail probabilities across those very same areas that are expecting here that severe weather as we head through the weekend and into portions here of next week as well. And just in general, the next 7 days, going all the way through Friday, May 6th here in the morning, a lot of rainfall across much of the center of the country here from the mid-Mississippi and upper Mississippi River Valley down through here the south and central portions of the Great Plains into the northern plains as well, getting over toward the Ohio Valley. In general, across much of the middle of the country, could expect here an additional 2 to 4 plus inches of rainfall over the next several days through May 6th, next Friday, May 6th here as we head into that time frame. Even some heavier rainfall up into portions of western Oregon and Washington state as well, with all those troughs kind of digging down into the southwestern portions of the states as well. And here portions of the Four Corners and into California, Nevada, still hopeful for rainfall, but it does not appear to be here an appreciable rainfall here maker for any of these troughs kind of digging down into those areas, with continued drought and very dry conditions, unfortunately, and wildfire concerns across those areas here through the first week of May here heading into that time frame. So thank you for watching my video. Do be sure to like my video, give me a nice thumbs up here, leave any of your comments and questions below. I'll be able to answer them here all day today and tonight. And do remember to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest forecast updates here concerning the severe weather and the upcoming weather pattern here as we head through May. So thank you for watching, everybody, and have a great Friday.